Welcome, everyone, to a deep dive into a world that's, often seen but rarely truly explored.
The world of libraries.
Exactly, libraries.
Yep.
Now, before you click away thinking
Yeah.
this is just another, boring lecture about dusty old books,
Right.
trust me,
Yeah.
it's anything but.
It's going to be good.
We're going way beyond checking out, the latest bestsellers or whatever.
Yeah.
We are diving deep, really going in depth
Yes.
into use of library. A fascinating document
Absolutely.
that unveils the hidden depths of these knowledge repositories
Yes.
from their ancient origins to their modern day
Yeah, all the way.
wonders. And I, for one, am very excited.
It's fascinating stuff.
Get ready for some aha moments.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking library history trivia.
Yeah.
That'll make you the hit of your next book club meeting.
Absolutely. You'll be spouting off all this
Wait,
symphony.
for example, did you know that libraries existed before books?
No. What is
Yeah.
Sam?
It's true. Long before the printing press, civilizations were already collecting and organizing information. We're talking ancient Mesopotamia, around 2600 BC.
Okay.
Imagine rows upon rows of clay tablets meticulously inscribed with cuneiform script forming structured archives.
Clay tablets. That's incredible. I mean, I struggle to keep my digital files organized, let alone
Right.
clay tablets.
It's amazing. And it wasn't just haphazard storage either. Archaeologists have found evidence of a classification system at a library in Nineveh, dating back to around 700 BC.
Wow, a classification system way back then.
Yeah.
That completely changes my perspective on libraries. It's not just about the format of the information, like whether it's a scroll or a codex or a digital file.
Right.
It's about that human impulse to organize and
Yes.
share knowledge.
Precisely. And that drive echoes throughout history. Look at the Great Library at Alexandria, for example, or the personal libraries of Renaissance thinkers, all driven by this desire to collect, categorize, and make knowledge accessible.
And speaking of access, it's amazing how libraries have evolved. Oh,
Meet so many different needs. I mean, today, we've got a whole spectrum of libraries.
We do.
So-
We have academic libraries, the lifeblood of research at universities and colleges. Then there are the specialized collections, like the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. Can you imagine the depth of knowledge housed in a library solely dedicated to tropical agriculture?
I mean, it's like a dream come true for anyone researching those fields. Talk about going deep. But it makes you realize that no matter how niche your interest, there's probably a library out there
Probably.
dedicated to it.
Oh, yeah.
But libraries aren't just for academics, right?
Not at all. School libraries play a vital role in sparking a lifelong love of reading in children. And public libraries act as community hubs, bridging the gap between information and opportunity for everyone.
And of course, let's not forget the grand dames, the national libraries.
Mm-hmm.
These institutions safeguard a nation's intellectual heritage, rare books, historical documents like the crown jewels of knowledge. Each type of library plays a unique role, but they all share that fundamental goal, making information accessible.
When most people think library services, they picture borrowing books.
Right.
But our deep dive into use of library reveals there's so much more going on behind the scenes.
You're absolutely right. Libraries are like bustling cities of information,
Okay.
offering a wealth of services we often overlook.
Okay.
Take reference services, for example.
I'll admit, when I think reference desk, I picture, a stern librarian shushing people.
Right.
Quiet, this is a library.
Yeah, with a date stamp,
Right.
and a
Okay.
monocle or
Well,
something.
Yeah, exactly.
No, not at all.
But I'm guessing that's not quite the reality.
Not at all. Think of reference librarians as your personal research assistants.
Okay.
They can help you track down a specific fact, navigate a tricky database, or even connect you with experts in your field.
Okay. That's way cooler than I imagined. So they're
Yeah.
guides in this vast world of knowledge.
Exactly. And speaking of guides, have you ever heard of current awareness services? It's like having a personal assistant who curates a reading list just for you.
Okay.
Imagine receiving a monthly email digest filled with the latest articles and publications tailored to your specific interests.
Wait, libraries offer that?
Yeah.
Sign me up. That would save me so much time and effort. It's like they know exactly what I need before I even ask.
It's all about anticipating your needs and connecting you with the most relevant information. And then if your local branch doesn't have what you're looking for, there's always interlibrary loan.
That's right, interlibrary loans. I actually have like a great interlibrary loan story. So a while back, I was researching my family history, and I like stumbled upon this reference to this rare document
Wow.
that was held in a library across the country.
Yeah.
And I was ready to like hop on a plane. And then I was like, wait a minute,
Right.
interlibrary loan. A few weeks later, that very document arrived at my local branch.
That's amazing.
It felt like magic.
It's like magic, yeah. That's the beauty of libraries, though. They open doors to a world of knowledge that extends far beyond your local shelves. And speaking of, expanding horizons, let's talk about the digital revolution that's reshaping libraries as we know them.
Okay, digital libraries. I have to admit, as much as I love like the smell of old books, the convenience of accessing anything, anytime, anywhere is pretty hard to beat.
Absolutely. Digital libraries break down geographical barriers, offering a wealth of resources 204/7. We're talking ebooks, online journals, research databases, and even open educational resources, or OERs for short.
OERs, those are the free ones, right?
Yes.
I've heard whispers, but I have to admit I'm not entirely sure what they are.
So think of OERs as like the rising tide of open access education. We're talking textbooks, course materials, videos, even like entire courses,
Wow.
all freely available online. It's a game changer for students, for educators, and really anyone with a thirst for knowledge.
That's amazing. It feels like we're moving toward a future where everyone has access to like high quality learning materials, regardless of like their income or their location.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like the ultimate democratization of knowledge.
It is. It's a powerful movement, and
Mhm.
digital libraries are at the forefront. But like any technological leap, there are challenges.
Right, like that feeling of being completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of
Yeah,
information available online. It's almost too much.
too much.
Sometimes. Like, where do you even begin?
That's where strong search strategies come in. It's like having a map and compass in a vast digital forest. Remember those call numbers we talked about earlier?
Mhm.
They're like addresses for physical books.
Right.
Well, online catalogs and databases use similar systems to organize information.
Hmm.
And mastering those systems is key to like successful digital exploration.
So it's not just about like typing random words into a search bar and hoping for the best.
Not quite. It's about being strategic and understanding how these systems work. For example, imagine you're researching the impact of policies addressing water pollution in the UK. You'd start by like brainstorming keywords like water pollution, policies, and United Kingdom.
Okay, that makes sense. But what if those like basic searches don't give me the specific information I need?
That's where things get interesting.
Okay.
This is where knowing a little bit about how to like refine those searches
Right.
can make all the difference. For example, instead of policies, you might try legislation or regulations.
Okay.
Or instead of just water pollution, you could get more specific with terms like water contamination, or even like the names of specific pollutants.
Ah, so it's about thinking like a librarian,
Yeah,
considering all the different angles and using like more precise language.
exactly. And here's where it gets even more powerful. You can use something called Boolean operators to combine those keywords.
Yeah.
And D narrows your search, requiring all terms to be present, while OR broadens it, including any of the terms you list.
Okay, I've heard of Boolean operators,
Yes.
but to be honest, they always seemed a bit intimidating, like something only like tech wizards use.
They're not as complicated as you might think.
Okay.
Think of them as tools to like sculpt your search, making it more precise and effective.
Okay.
And don't underestimate the power of truncation and wildcards. For example, searching for pollute would capture pollution, pollutants, polluted. You get the idea.
Right. Okay, so it's like learning a secret language for talking to search engines.
Exactly, it
Very
is.
cool.
Yeah. It's about understanding the logic behind these tools and using them to your advantage. And these strategies aren't just for academic research. They work across a wide range of online platforms and databases. Once you grasp these techniques, you'll be navigating the digital world like a pro.
It's amazing how much more there is to libraries than meets the eye. But I think it's easy to forget that all this information, whether it's on a clay tablet or a digital screen, is only as good as our ability to, like, absorb and apply it.
You've hit on a crucial point. Access to information is only half the battle. The other half is developing effective reading and study habit skills that are essential for lifelong learning, not just for acing exams.
It's like that saying, knowledge is power, but only if you know what to do with it. So what are some of the key takeaways from use of library when it comes to making the most of the information we encounter?
One technique that really stood out to me is the SQ3R method.
Okay.
It's a simple yet powerful framework for active reading and information retention.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Break it down for us. What is SQ3R?
It stands for Survey, Question, Read, Recite, Review.
Okay.
It's about actively engaging with the material, not just passively skimming through it.
So instead of just highlighting everything or trying to memorize facts and figures, it's about asking questions, making
Yes.
connections, and
Yeah.
really digging into the text.
Exactly. The survey part encourages you to skim the headings, some headings, and any visuals to get a sense of, like, the material structure. Then you formulate questions about what you want to learn from the material. Next comes the read phase, where you actively seek answers to your questions. After reading a section, you recite the key points in your own words, solidifying your understanding. And finally, you review the material, reinforcing what you've learned.
It sounds like a much more engaging way to approach reading, especially for like dense or technical material. I'm already thinking about how I can like incorporate this into my own reading routine.
It's a game changer, trust me.
Yeah.
And it's just one of many strategies that use of library highlights. The document also emphasizes the importance of keeping a well-structured notebook, using effective note-taking techniques, and practicing active recall to reinforce learning.
I love how these tips are like useful for anyone, whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone who like loves to learn new things.
Absolutely, these are lifelong learning skills that extend far beyond the classroom or the library.
It's like use of library is like a secret manual
Right.
for unlocking your inner learning superhero.
I like that. I like that analogy. And speaking of secrets, this document also delves into a topic that often causes like a lot of confusion and anxiety,
Yeah.
especially in the digital age, and that is copyright and plagiarism.
Oh, yes. Those words can strike fear into the heart of any student or researcher.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
But use of library really breaks it down in a clear and concise way.
Okay.
It explains, the purpose of copyright law, which is to protect the rights of creators,
Right.
but it also highlights this concept of fair use,
Right.
which allows for the use of copyrighted material for limited purposes,
Okay.
like education and research.
So it's not always black and white. Like there are actually guidelines for
Yeah.
using other people's work ethically and legally.
Exactly. And the key takeaway here is the importance of proper citation and attribution.
Yes.
Whenever you use someone else's words or ideas
Right.
in your work, you need to give them credit.
It's about like respecting the intellectual property of others
Yeah.
while also like being transparent about your sources and influences.
Precisely. And it's not just about avoiding, like, legal trouble.
Right.
It's about academic honesty, integrity, and contributing to a culture of knowledge sharing
Yeah.
that's built on respect and recognition.
Well said. So, dear listener, we've journeyed from the ancient clay tablets of Nineveh to the digital frontiers of open access education.
Right.
Uncovering hidden depths and practical tips along the way, we've explored the diverse world of libraries, decoded the mysteries of library classification systems,
Right.
and armed you with strategies for navigating both physical and digital information landscapes.
Absolutely.
We've also delved into that often overlooked world of library services, revealing how these institutions go above and beyond to connect you with the information you need.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And perhaps most importantly, we've emphasized that knowledge is most powerful when it's paired with effective learning strategies and a deep respect for intellectual property.
Absolutely.
So the next time you step into a library, whether it's like a grand building
Right.
or a website on your phone, remember, you're not just entering a repository of information. You are entering a portal
Yes.
to endless possibilities.
And endless possibilities. What will you explore next?